Barbara, sema wewe na mzee accident ya uwezo
kama sasa
Venga, igual de terminar. Voy a darle.
sempre Elias Lukwago, Elias
Together with me is Opia Caroline, Senior State Attorney, Nagwire Rachel, Senior State Attorney, all from the Office of the DPP, who represent the prosecution in this matter. Your Honor, by Counsel Meda Dubega Segona, who is present in court, Kawiya Lawrence, who is also present in court, Second Jako Abubeka, Proskovia Kunihira, Apollo Kwesiga, Nawinya Irene, Kwagara Isaac, Counsel Katshabe Ronald, and Counsel Selungu Joseph. Your Honor, this matter is coming up for mention on inquiries. However, Your Honor, we wish to inform this Honorable Court that inquiries are complete in this matter. However, we noted that in the charge sheet that was previously uploaded in this court, there were typo errors, especially, Your Honor, on the CRB, the Katwe CRB, which had the year as 206 instead of 2026. So we corrected that error. Your Honor, we further got information from the particulars of the national ID of the accused person. We had earlier relayed quote as he was called Salongo Elias Lukwago. However, from the particulars of his national ID, he is Elias Lukwago. So we've amended that to include Salongo as an alias. Those are the particulars that we've actually amended on the charge sheet. We pray that this Honorable Court is pleased to read the charges afresh to the accused person.
There is an amended charge sheet.
The amended charge sheet, Your Honor, is already uploaded on the ITMIS. We pray that court read the charges afresh and it takes play on the same.
Elias Lukwago. How long are you with this? You're charged with misprision. CAF 128. Can we go on? Yes. Yes, Elias Lukwago, alias Salongo, and others still at large between 2021 and November 2024 at various places, including Nairobi in Kenya and Kampala district in Uganda, knowing that other persons to wit, Joel Wakaima, Frank Chiherere Atukunda, Haj Obed Lutale, and Colonel retired Dr. Kizabesi Fefe intended to commit treason. You did not give information thereof with all reasonable dispatch to the minister, an administrative officer, a magistrate, or an officer in charge of a police station, or use all reasonable endeavors to prevent the commission of the treason.
Loaded the indictment, summary of the case, wherein the DPP has decided to have the accused committed typhoid for trial. We pray that this court is pleased to proceed and commit the accused typhoid.
number of respects, as you mentioned. Your hands are tied. You will understand. But before the commuter, some issues I want to bring to your attention because it's currently your prisoner. You remanded him.
Yes,
And because you remanded him, the concerns as to how he lives in the prison are still a matter in your hands.
yes. So let us first commit him, and then is the proceeding.
Mr. President.
This is the summary of the case. The Director of Public Prosecution shall at the trial adduce evidence to prove the following facts. That Elias Lukwago, alias Salongo, herein referred to as the accused, is an advocate and the president for People's Front for Freedom, a breakaway political party from Forum for Democratic Change, both of which were founded by Colonel Dr. Kiza Besigye. That before joining PFF, that is People's Front for Freedom, the accused was a member of the Democratic Party and Forum for Democratic Change, respectively. Until May 2026, the accused was the Lord Mayor of Kampala City and Member of Parliament for Kampala Central. That throughout his political career, he has been a critic of the current ruling government and has participated in activities aimed at ousting the government of the Republic of Uganda together with Colonel retired Dr. Kiza Besigye, herein referred to as KB, Honorable Semuju Nganda, and Honorable Salam Musumba, among others. That Colonel retired Dr. Kiza Besigye is a retired Uganda People's Defense Forces officer, having served the army in various senior positions previously. He is also a founding member of the Forum for Democratic Change, political party that is FDC, where he served as its president for several years. He is also a former multiple presidential candidate in Uganda. That Kebi, when I say Kebi, I refer to Kiza Besigye, has been fiercely opposed to the current National Resistance Movement government. Over time, he has openly expressed his desire to change the leadership of the country through violent means such as the infamous walk to work political protest and the defiance campaign. That Haj Obed Lutale is a member of the People's Front for Freedom and a personal assistant to KB. That RO 12743 Captain Owola Denish Oya is a UPDF officer attached to the Armored Brigade. That Andrew Wilson, herein referred to as AW, is a proprietor of a private security company that deals in various security-related services, including sale of firearms, investigations, and tactical training on firearms, among others, since 2003. That sometime in the year 2021, Andrew Wilson, was contacted by Mr. Joel Wakaima, herein referred to as JW, a Ugandan citizen who was based in Switzerland. JW informed AW that he needed a company to provide firearms, weapons, and training to some Ugandans, both domestic and in the diaspora, to overturn the government of Uganda by force of arms. JW requested AW to execute the work for him. That upon listening to the details of the requests of JW, AW realized that it was criminal and decided to search for Ugandan authorities to report the matter. AW was provided with the contacts of the commander of the Ugandan contingent of AMZON, a senior UPDF officer who at the time was based in Somalia. AW narrated to the UPDF officer that JW was planning to do and inquired what to do. The UPDF officer requested AW to become a government spy and to continue engaging JW in order to establish the details of the plot to overturn the government of Uganda, which AW accepted. AW was introduced to intelligence officers at the then Chief Nurse of Military Intelligence, CMI, under whose supervision he continued to work and to whom he regularly reported all the activities. That AW then continued to engage with JW over the next 2 years until 2023, when JW introduced AW to Salam Musumba. AW had a conversation with Salam Musumba by Zoom call, and the proceedings of this meeting were recorded by AW. During this meeting, Salam Musumba requested for the training of their people in covert communications and intelligence gathering techniques for the purpose of spying on the government of the Republic of Uganda. That Salam Musumba subsequently requested for a meeting with AW in Brussels, Belgium, where she invited many other people to attend, including the accused, Elias Lukwago, Honorable Semujunganda, Lubega Mukaku, and Charles Romshana. In the discussions at this meeting, AW accepted to join the plot to overturn the government and agreed to be their security and military advisor. The accused was aware of the meeting, that is Elias Lukwago was aware of the meeting between AW and Salam Musumba, but did not report it to any authority. The discussions at this meeting were recorded by AW, and the recording shall be relied upon at the trial. That upon building sufficient trust in AW, Salam Musumba requested JW to introduce AW to KB. This was done, and the two, AW and JW, had an online discussion with KB about the grand plot to overturn the government of Uganda by force of arms. This culminated into the first physical meeting between KB, that is Kiza Besigye, and AW on the 29th of October 2023 at Geneva, Switzerland. That the first physical meeting was held in Geneva, Switzerland on the 29th of October 2023 and was attended by AW, KB, Frank Chihere Atukunda, and JW. At this meeting, the group discussed the plot to overturn the government of Uganda by force of arms. KB requested for military assistance from AW to destabilize Uganda. KB also requested AW to train some of his allies in covert intelligence and paramilitary tactics, which request AW accepted. KB further requested for counterfeit Ugandan shillings with the intention to seek into the economy of Uganda through his collaborators, who he stated to be officials in Bank of Uganda, as a means of raising finance for KB's objectives and also destabilize the economy. In the same meeting, KB, JW, and Frank requested for racine poison, yes, to poison targeted government officials. That further in the same meeting, KB provided AW with a list of government security installations and military facilities like the 2nd Division, Makenke Barracks, Bugembe Barracks, Bihango Military School, Kachoma Mountain Brigade, Kabarole, Gaddafi Military Barracks in Jinja, Magamaga Military Barracks in Mayuge District, Marine Division Luzira, Air Force Academy Nakasongola, Engineering College Lugazi Senior Staff College, Chimaka, Singo, Karubuta Training School, Toroko Military Intelligence and Security School in Nakasongola District, Machinde Military Barracks, Police School Webaje, and Oliver Tambo, Kweweta, among others, as targets for attacks. That after agreeing to conduct a training in Kisumu, Kenya, Frank Chiherere Atukunda traveled to Uganda with KB to organize their intended group of people for training. The proceedings of the above meeting were recorded using a covert camera by AW, and the same will be relied upon during the trial. That KW and AW created a strong communication, that is, or relationship through social media, including WhatsApp. KB provided AW with his Swiss contact line number, that is +4177 8138 through which he frequently communicated with AW on mobile line number +19 54 39 40 141 WhatsApp. During the period from their first meeting on 29th October 2023 up to 16th of November 2024, KB social media messages wherein can be discussed with can we proceed? Yes. Wherein can be discussed with AW details of his intentions and the plot to overturn the government of Uganda by force of arms. A forensic extract of the record of their conversation shall be relied upon during the trial. That KB attended another meeting on the 24th of January 2024 in Geneva, Switzerland, which was also attended by AW and JW. At this meeting, KB assured AW that he was committed to facilitate the training of his people to overturn the government of Uganda by force of arms. In this meeting, KB and JW further requested AW to assassinate the President of the Republic of Uganda using a drone strike. KEBI undertook to provide AW with the President's movement routine and vulnerable points to facilitate his assassination. In exchange for AW's assistance, KEBI and JW undertook to grant the Kurdish government company access to Uganda banking sector to launder money, permit the use of Uganda's airfields for trafficking illicit goods, including drugs, use Uganda as a safe haven for Kurdish fugitives, and generally permit the use of Uganda for illicit activities once the plot to overturn the government was successful. That by virtue of his leadership position in PFF, the accused was aware of all the meetings between KEBI, Frank Chiheri at Kunda, JW and AW in Geneva, Switzerland, and the plot to overturn the government of the Republic of Uganda by force of arms, but deliberately did not report to any authority. That on the 14th day of June 2024, KEBI attended a meeting with AW and JW in Geneva, Switzerland. In this meeting, the participants further discussed the plot to overturn the government of Uganda by force of arms. KEBI requested AW to arrange for the training of a selected group of like-minded conspirators from Uganda, who included Samuel Makoha in Kisumu, Kenya, in intelligence gathering, surveillance operations, espionage techniques, and use of drones to be used in overturning the government of Uganda. In the same meeting, KEBI and JW repeated their request for AW to supply them with counterfeit Ugandan currency, drones, weapons, and grenades, which they codenamed pineapples. KEBI provided AW with airstrip coordinates 21735 N32134 E6 GHH72VH plus 2P 72VF plus 2P length of strip, 1,900 meters, 6,233 feet, altitude 5,266 feet, 1,605 meters, MSC. In DRC for airdropping of weapons. KEBI further informed the meeting that he intended to use part of the Zambian territory for training and logistics. At the same meeting, AW gave KEBI $5,000 to facilitate the movement of Makoha Samuel and other selected Ugandan trainees from Uganda to Kisumu in Kenya for training. That the accused knew of the meeting in Kisumu, took part in the mobilization, and authorized the travel of the participants from PFF, who included Samuel Makoha, for the said training in Kisumu, Kenya, with the intention of overturning the government of the Republic of Uganda by force of arms. That during the meeting of 29 September 2024, KEBI and AW agreed as a way forward to hold a meeting in Nairobi, Kenya, where KEBI would be able to meet the Kurdish Iraq contact for AW. KEBI and AW continued communicating to each other via WhatsApp on mobile lines +41 77 81 38 990 and +19 54 39 40 141 respectively. The WhatsApp communication chats between KEBI and AW about convening the Nairobi meeting will be tendered and relied upon in court during the trial. The group agreed to have a follow-up meeting later in Nairobi, Kenya. That the said meeting of 29 September 2024 was recorded secretly by AW and another individual who was AW's agent. The recordings will be tendered and relied upon in court during trial. That on the 16th day of November 2024, KEBI Hajobed Lutale, together with AW and his Kurdish contact, attended a meeting at 108 Riverside apartment in Nairobi, Kenya, to further discuss the plot to overturn the government of Uganda by force of arms. The Nairobi meeting was attended by KEBI Hajobed Lutale, AW and his Kurdish contact, who was posing as a representative of the Kurdish government company. At this meeting, KEBI introduced Hajobed Lutale as his personal assistant and a person who was part of the plot to overturn the government of Uganda. At this meeting, KEBI repeated his request to be supplied with surface-to-air missiles and other weapons to attack helicopters and aircraft as one of the ways to overturn the government of Uganda. KEBI and Hajobed Lutale also briefed the meeting about their plot to instigate civil disobedience strikes in Uganda, starting with assassination of the President of the Republic of Uganda in March 2025 in order to achieve their objectives. That being the leader of PFF, the accused was aware that Kebbi and Hajobed Lutale, who are also members of PFF, traveled to Nairobi, Kenya, and attended a meeting with AW, whose sole aim was to overturn the government of the Republic of Uganda, but he still did not report it to any authority in Uganda. That the accused also knew that JW and Frank Cherera Tkunda approached AW for assistance in a plot to overturn the government of the Republic of Uganda by force of arms, but did not report it to any authority in Uganda. That the accused further knew that Kebbi had approached AW, and that the two, Kebbi and AW, together with JW, had held several meetings in various places in which they contrived a plot to overturn the government of the Republic of Uganda by force of arms, but still did not report it to any authority in Uganda. That on the 17th day of November 2024, Kebbi and Hajobed Lutale were handed over to the Ugandan security officers from Defense Intelligence and Security at Malaba border, together with several exhibits, which included their mobile phones, 2 pistols, and other items. The two were later charged at the General Court Martial in Machinde with offences under the UPDF Act by UPDF GCM 040/2024. However, following the decision of the Supreme Court in the case of Attorney General versus Honorable Michael and others, the matter was taken over by the Uganda Police Force, which conducted fresh investigations from 12th of February 2025. As a result, Kebbi, Hajobed Lutale, and RO12743 Captain Oladeni Shoya were charged with treason and misprision of treason via Nakawa criminal case, criminal case number A008-2025, 0285-2025, and CID headquarters E033-2025, and committed to High Court for trial. That the accused was examined on PF24 and found to be of normal mental status. The medical report will be tendered and relied upon during the trial. That police investigations retrieved immigration records and travel history of Kebbi, Hajobed Lutale, Simon Rutarondwa, and others. The records were analyzed and confirmed that the various individuals traveled outside Uganda during the periods of the alleged meetings and trainings. The immigration documents and records shall be tendered in court. That since 2021 and all along, AW was constantly providing updates to his handlers within Uganda's military intelligence. He covertly recorded both on video and audio all relevant meetings with Kebbi, Hajobed Lutale, JW, and other conspirators, and shared these recordings with intelligence officers in CMI. He later handed over the electronic gadgets used to make the recordings and the audio-video recordings to investigators. These were forensically examined, and the resultant examination reports shall be relied upon at the trial. That prosecution shall contend that the accused knew Kebbi, Hajobed Lutale, Simon Rutarondwa, Joel Wakaima, Franka Tkunda were intending to commit treason but did not report it to any authority in Uganda or use reasonable endeavor to prevent the commission of treason. That prosecution shall further contend that the accused person indicted in this case acted with common intention and in concert with others and is culpable as such. Whereupon prosecution shall contend that the accused person does not have any valid defense to the indictment and he should be convicted as indicted. Salongo, you are committed to High Court for High Court for trial and the next convenient High Court session. That's where you will take bail and you have the right to apply for bail in the High Court.
Thank you very much.
According to the indictment and the summary of evidence, we should keep those signed.
The signed one.
Yes, this is the signed one. A copy is handed over to you. But of course, your lawyers are linked into it, means they can access the details via link. Yes, ma'am.
The machinations have been well understood. You did, upon remand, direct that the accused person be referred to Mulago National Referral Hospital and made specific directions. Among others, to be medically examined and a report be given to the Honorable Court. The Commissioner General of Prisons and other prisons authorities did comply and referred the accused, took the accused to Mulago, did comply and delivered Mulago National Referral Hospital. And he was received on the 25th day of June 2026. Whereupon a team of senior specialists was constituted as per the report. That was forwarded to court on 30th June 2026. Actually, there were not 5, more, but 5 are specifically noted at page 2 of the report. But Orotho, a senior orthopedic and spine surgeon, as team leader. Dr. Michael Umoma, a senior consultant physician and cardiology. Dr. Stephen Matovu, senior consultant. Physician and neurology. Dr. Joel Chiliabwire, a consultant neurosurgeon, has hypertension, which is controlled with antihypertensive medications. Number 2, and with emphasis, is that he has unresolved post-COVID-19 lung complex. Unresolved post-COVID-19 lung complex with a residual mild cylindrical, from like cylinder, cylindrical bronchitis. Bronchitis. For the benefit of my lovely friend Judith Nyamwiza, the spelling is BRO NCH CRO NCH IE TASIS. Now this one remains unresolved. Whereas hypertension is managed with the medicines, this one remains unresolved. Number 3, persistent anosmia and retained earwax and tinnitus. RO, eustachian tube dysfunction. Eustachian tube dysfunction. The tube that is not functioning. Meniere disease. Meniere disease is MINNIER. Disease and olfactory dysfunction. That is another second condition that is not resolved. Residual, number 4 is residual cervical radiculitis. Depending on where you come from, if it is American radiculitis, British call it radiculitis. Following C6-7 disc replacement surgery. And adjacent level 5-6 disease. The condition it presents, in summary and easy language, is that he cannot sleep. That affects the brain. The body. And his pressure levels. Before I take you to the conclusions, the reviews at page 6 of your report explain the situation that I'm talking about. And that is the review of the ENT specialists. Dr. Biso, D-I-B-I-S-S-O. Number 1 was the ringing in the left ear for the last 4 years. Number 2 is the feeling of fullness more in the left ear. As compared to the right for the last 4 years. Fullness, it is hearing of fullness, more in the left ear than the right ear. As if it is filled up with something. Number 3. One, that your remand instructions include an order, because I know you're going to remand him, and with a smile, you're going to remand him with an order that the prison's authorities transfer the accused person to Fortis Memorial Hospital in India. Fortis Memorial Research Institute, Gurugram, in India, under guard and protection, the same way he was guarded in Uganda. We appreciate that he is a prisoner and he will remain a prisoner. Number 2, that he be allowed a caretaker in form of his wife. Who shall be moved at the accused's expense. Again, painfully. They move their prisoner. The wife will move herself separately. Of course. Your Worship, that the accused while in hospital be allowed visitors that are able to visit him. I didn't make the same prayer for Mulago because I imagined the kind of influx and population. With the Gurugram, the numbers will definitely be limited. We pray that while in India, in hospital, he be afforded available consular services as a citizen. And that upon recovery or improvement, upon discharge, he be remanded back to Luzira, Murchison Bay, as a discharged patient under medical observation. that upon discharge from hospital in India, he be remanded again to Matson to be received in Matson Bay as a discharged patient. You know, there are now two forms of discharge from hospital. We are not talking about from prison yet. Under medical observation. The accused is willing to deposit his passport with prison authorities to facilitate that process, if you be pleased, offer the same. In the alternative, and pending that, we pray for the following. In order Your Worship, in the previous hearing, we did raise the concern of the accused's tinnitus pillow. That he used before, used in Mulago, having been dismantled by prison's authorities. I want to believe owing to its nature. Your Worship, the tinnitus pillow is a specialized one. Tailor-made. For example, I can't use his pillow even if I have the same condition. It's after measurements and the medical prescriptions are made. Was ordered by the accused person from the United Kingdom as a medical prescription. It has gadgets that mitigate the muffled sounds we were talking about. It is electrical and is charged, must be powered. I do not want to complete the job prisons did not do, but I want to demonstrate that upon being dismantled, I believe for fear of these gadgets, they did not understand. It was rendered dysfunctional. It is irreparable. It cannot be repaired. We inquired and they said no, it can't be repaired. The process of that pillow the accused can only rely on prescribed medicine. And we are trying to demonstrate to show. Now, Your Worship, the way it operates is that the kind of sounds which are in my view, sometimes muffled sounds, even in sleepless night. So to counter this ringing, they came up with this innovation so that
Once it is charged, properly charged, you charge it with a normal charger, basic this. Then there are speakers inside here. So once you are sleeping here, you put this ear, that sound you have heard comes into this ear to soothe the ear so that you can sleep. So that's the way it works. Now they removed the speakers and those other chips inside, which they are not the ordinary speakers. These are high-tech kind of whatever, which are inside there. So they dismantled it, and it's no longer now functional. So this sound cannot be transmitted inside here.
So he has to rely, therefore, bromazepam. Bro, like brother, ma, okay, Z-E-R. And diazepam. A new tinnitus pillow. We shall give them the address and they pay. We don't want to receive their money. Also that they provide a more ventilated space. We repeatedly appreciate they have tried their best in terms of prison conditions. But the accused's breathing is highly compromised. It took us 3 months because it had other medical prescriptions, taking the measurements, the diagnosis and everything. But now that they have his specifications, it takes them 1 month to have it delivered. So, maybe before I take leave, I would request that you permit the accused. There are particular areas, this medical language is not, is alien to me. So there are particular conditions that I may not bring out, which I request that you permit.
Your Worship, for the record, I am no longer getting treatment where I am from the hospital. I commend the doctors. They have done their best. We have our medical superintendent, Dr. Vanidawa, at Matchson Medical Hospital. He is always there. We have our resident doctor. It's called Dr. Kasuja, a very committed doctor. 24/7 is monitoring the patients. We have Dr. Kajoba, who is equally good and committed. He's also there. We have Dr. Maroon. Comes at night, for him at night, he's always there. Comes at night to check on us. We have Dr. Ataba, he's also there. Then we have a surgeon, Dr. Rebecca. But they are all now helpless in my situation. They are helpless. Their position, understandably, I was referred to the best physicians we have in the country. Actually, many of them indicated these are their teachers, the ones who made that report. Professor Orodia, the pulmonologist, is the best we have in this country. We examined him. Dr. Pichia, the one of gastroenterologist, is got gastroesophageal reflux disease, which is harassing him, and diagnosed him with hypertension. One of the best gastroenterologists we have in this country. Dr. Rotho, you will ask anyone who led the team. One of the very few neurosurgeons we have here. Actually, they are just a handful. And I've visited all of them before. Dr. Nyati and the others, those who have suffered my problem, they know they are very, very few. So Dr. Rotho, the team leader, a very good neurosurgeon we have here. Including Dr. Mato, who's also a good neurologist. Then Dr. Momo is one of the best cardiologists we have. And then Dr. Biso, the ENT expert, who recommended the use of this tinnitus pill. The best ENT doctor we have. So I've reached the epitome of our health system in this country. So the point I wanted to emphasize, which my counsel brought out here, no order for treatment in Chico will help. I mean, and your worship, court shouldn't waste its time to make any order that I be given medical treatment in Chico. That would be wasted. Court shouldn't waste its time with any order of treatment at much sonic day. It will not help me. Currently, I'm using the HDU bed. HDU is a high dependency bed. The only we have is in Chico. Maxon bed. And a lodger now in the hospital. I don't know how to describe the lodger, but I'm just lodging. The only thing they can do is to manage to check on my vitals, blood sugars, pressure levels, SOPs, pulse, and for that I give them credit. They have done it regularly. There's nothing. And the situation is moving from bad to worse. Because now, Worship Family said this. Honorable Sekona here has presented to you my situation that I'm using clonazepam, diazepam, and bromazepam. These are sedatives. These are sedatives. Initially, I was using Amtoptrin. They said, no, you leave that. Now you try diazepam. Said, no, you leave it. Try bromazepam. Try this. Now, our resident doctor, Kasuja, had stopped me from using these sedatives. He said, please, you're endangering your life. But I do not sleep. I said, damned I do it, damned I do it. If I use them, I'm going to die. If I don't use them, I'm going to die. Because if I don't sleep, if I don't sleep, this insomnia, it worsens gastroesophageal disease, GERD. It worsens hypertension. Then in the end, again I need a surgery. Surgery here. They told me what I need right now is called fundoplication. Fundoplication is a process where Now they cut the lower esophageal system here, sphincter muscle down here, which connects the stomach with the esophagus to narrow it so that you can contain the food in the stomach so that it doesn't go up. This can only, yes, there are those who can mechanically do it, but in this era of laparoscopic technology, one would need to have that benefit of cutting-edge technology using laparoscopic methods to do that kind of surgical operation. To handle this just being a problem. So that I can also have cerebral injury. I'm entitled to do that. Like any other human being, I'm ready to be tried, but when I'm alive, I'm ready to stand in trial. I'm ready to defend myself. But how am I kept? Finally, Your Worship. Finally, Your Worship. And I can always even join the man, no problem. But when I'm alive. But when I'm being kept, it's just a question of time. One thing I always explain, you see me here standing, when we say, well, we have seen you are strong. Even in New Zealand, they say, we see you seem to be strong. They say, but you don't know the nature of this problem. You can just drop dead. I've always given the example of medical boy who was driving on the road and all of a sudden he died on the steering. So, I want to conclude this, Your Worship. Another danger I'm facing, that where I am residing, and I appreciate it is the best they can offer for me. Because according to Professor Oli at the Coronoids, the environment in Goma, what we call Goma, is not conducive for my situation. That's post-Kopilanga complex. They are not well ventilated. So the place which is somehow has some ventilation is the hospital. But this is the national referral hospital for all the prisoners in the country. There is in there the hazard from Karamoja, from Western Nile, from Western Uganda. And my bed is just next to the counter where the sputum is, it's called sputum. That specimen, what is it called? It's called sputum. That's where they collect the samples from. All those who come, please, we need the sputum, we need the sputum, we need the sputum. So the sputum, the samples are being collected just from next to my bed. So now I have also decided to regularly, every week now I'm testing for TB. I'm glad the results that came out yesterday were negative. So again, in the course of 1 week, I will again test for TB. I'll be testing for TB. Because I was advised to use a mask, but you worship every time I put on a mask. I move with the one, I love it here. But every time I don't breathe. I have lung problems. So I wanted to emphasize those issues so that Your Worship will make the order made, the prayer made by my council, that if God wishes to see me here again as a person who can stand trial, the recommendation made by the experts now will be implemented, that they should be taken by the government. And whose control I am, whose custody right now.
I must comment that the procedure adopted by council after the committed proceedings is alien to this court, because at this time, court has committed the accused person to high court. and therefore this court lacks jurisdiction to entertain any application and make any subsequent orders. We are well aware, Your Honor, that the letter is already on the court record, and we submit that your only role right now, Your Honor, is transferring the file to High Court, and any other applications, prayers, and orders can be made there. We pray that court is not misguided, as it's already clear that it lacks jurisdiction to have the accuser tried. We so submit.
But the procedure is alien. What distinguishes us that you have orders relating to remand. Otherwise, your previous remand warrant expired yesterday. The accused, between now and when he is presented to the High Court, is entirely within your powers. Management of the file and the accused are two different matters. So if it is true that you cannot make any orders, including an order to remand, then I agree with her that you do not remand. Armed people in this room, they have to use force to take him back to Luzira. Number two, when you were making orders that a report be made and submitted to you, to this court, by Mulago, which was done, you knew that there is a process called committal, that you demanded that a report be provided to this court for cosmetic reasons. You had reasons. And the reasons did not relate to bail, because we had not asked for bail after that one failed. Even today we have not asked you for bail. We have only asked you to review your remand orders. Because without your remand order, prisons cannot hold a suspect, except that things are changing. So, we are not praying that you proceed with the accused's trial. I knew it before she joined in the back. We're only asking that while in custody, because he's not going to have any other appearance in any court between now and when he appears in the High Court. Is counsel for the state insinuating that during that period a citizen is deprived of the protection of the Constitution and the court? No. Your transitional and transmission powers remain until he appears in High Court. And these relate to his stay in custody. So I reiterate my prayers that my application would be entertained after committal, unless she's overruling me. She even finds it difficult for the state that dismantled the man's pillow to procure another pillow. So to the extent that she has not responded to my prayers, I pray that you find that the application is not contested and you grant the same.
Council Medad is requesting for the accused, an order for the accused to be transferred to India, right?
Yes.
And according to the accused, an order for him to be treated at Makshon Bay is useless, right? If I just want to
In the current circumstances.
in the current circumstances, yes.
Maybe I can add something because they are managing, they are not treating the source of the problem, the disc prolapse. They are managing the pain with the pregabalin, gabapentin, all sorts of those medications, painkillers. That is the only thing they can do. But the recommendation was that I go back and fix this, which they cannot fix in the maximum.
So the prayer is
And the more I delay, I'm not divided. The more aggravated it is become. The more I delay, the more aggravated it is to fix the problem of the spinal cord. And I've investigated it before. Because the disc replacement which was done, I took some time to go to India for the disc replacement. Here in Uganda, they don't do disc replacement. They do anterior cervical discectomy with the fusion. They just put in nuts and bolts the fusion. But disc replacement, removing the herniated disc and replace it with an artificial one. That technology is not yet, it can only be done here. And that's what was done here. So to go through an MRI to confirm this problem which has occurred on the disc that was replaced by herniated, an artificial one, I need to go back. So this cannot be done at once.
It's in the report.
his defense team. DPP has served my powers in this particular file. DPP has taken over and committed the accused person to High Court. I am alive to his medical concerns, and that's why I specifically made an order for him to be examined and treated if any. At this stage, I cannot make an order referring the accused person to India. This can be achieved through an application of bail in the High Court, which has been done by Honorable Medad Segona. This has been done because at this stage, this court has no power in this particular matter. So we cannot be making orders in a matter which this court has no jurisdiction. So, Council Salongo Elias, your team has applied for bail in the High Court. My advice would be that Honorable Medad clearly follows up and have the same fixed as early as possible, such that your medical needs can be dealt with. On the issue of the pillow, it was brought up last time. I followed up with the prison authorities, and they intimated to court that it had a gadget which was recording. According to them, yes, I'm reporting back. Yes, I'm reporting back. It had a gadget which was recording, which wasn't in conformity with the security details in Luzira. This is according to the OC, Makshon Bay. So as regards the pillow, my take would be, please let your team liaise still with prison authorities, because prison has its own guidelines. Let the team liaise with the prison authorities such that they can make arrangements. Because according to them, the pillow had a gadget which was recording. This is the report I got.
Maybe with your permission, Your Worship.
Yes.
Because it has a lot to do with tarnishing his image in the eyes of court. I have the documents upon which this pillow was procured. Number one, from and the medical facility through which we ordered it is here in Uganda. Pearl Hearing and Speech Solutions. It is in Zambia. I have a receipt here dated 6th December 2025. I have another one dated 6th July 2025. These are, and I will give them to court for your satisfaction. I think there are two things here. I want to imagine that the prisons authorities were acting within their powers, but they were just not guided by prudence. Because prudence would have demanded that you call the prisoner, ask him to explain about the pillow. Because there are even medical documents on how it was recommended. Those days, the accused was not in custody.
As at the time of
At the time of procuring,
Yes.
we have all the medical history of how we arrived at that. Unfortunately now, for us we raised our issues in open court. They choose to give their answers in camera so that their answers are not controverted. I think it is understandable. Ignorance is not an offense. I do not expect them to know medical issues. Like I know little. At least for me, I pay attention. But you cannot tarnish the image of an accused person who is seeking court's ear to impute that somebody imported gadgets, recording gadgets, as if to record what is going on.
Their fear was, like Salongo has explained, that pillow has a gadget,
Yes.
right? Yes, that one. So their fear was that gadget was being used to record. Are we together? Yes, So it is simple. Please, Honorable Medal Segona and Salongo's family, please liaise with the prison authorities. Please educate them on the same, because they have their own guidelines. Court may order that the pillow be produced, but they have their own guidelines. So my take is, please liaise with them, probably educate them on how that pillow operates, because they had fears that that particular pillow had a gadget which was being used to record. So please liaise with them. And if they are okay with it, this court has no problem. Absolutely.
Before you close me out, Your Worship,
Yes, please.
and I wish you had guided them to bring those recorders they removed from the pillow here in court so that we would defend ourselves. Other than making an accusation against an accused person who is disabled totally. Two, at the time of admitting the person, because he was their prisoner, even in Mulago, he explained, and the doctors did explain to them. Now, maybe the unfortunate thing is that those who were in Mulago were not the ones who were in prisons. And that's why I said they could have been motivated by goodwill, acting within their powers. Ignorance is excusable. But then you mitigate the effects of your ignorance. Because now, having understood that there are no spy gadgets, the accused has been asking for his bail. He has been even telling them where it can be procured. If you care about your prisoner and your intention is not to kill, you proceed and do that. If an individual can do it, how about the state? Anyway, having guided that you have no powers in this matter to make orders, I look forward to not remanding.
Government is alive to the law. It's simply tickling this court. Please, I am alive to the fact that Counsel Elias has applied for bail in the High Court. My advice would be that his defense team expedites the same, to have the same fixed and high. Honorable Medad, please, with the family of Counsel Lukwago, kindly meet up with the prison authorities and discuss the issues of the pillow and others.
We are not taking it.
Yes, please meet up with them and explain to them. I don't think they will have a problem. But of course, where they have security concerns, they will address the same, such that you come up with the way forward. Otherwise, with that, Counsel Salongo, you're committed to High Court for trial at the next court.
Yes, we have been less than a month. And the people who dismantled it, we know government has capacity to shop around. Probably for them, they can expedite it and have it within a matter of days and give it to me, which has no recorders. Yes, if they can.
That was their fear. But Honorable has explained that they will explain what's being used to record.
Because I was making a motion that the government can give them use their channels. Then procure it expeditiously. so that I don't go through the trouble of ordering for it, because these power hearing sounds, they have to test me first and foremost. And the voice you had only one, but they are many depending on what you are feeling. There is that one. If I'm feeling that one, then I keep changing. So they have to test the ears. And then they tell me, you need this. But government has capacity to do this. For me, I'm incapacitated. Where I am even moving from the place where I'm detained to the reception is a tug of war. But the government can work out mechanisms of getting me this facility, so that I stop using these sedatives, which are not only addictive, but dangerous to my life. Imagine using sedatives every night.
Make arrangements with the prison authorities. Whatever conclusion you come up with, this court has no problem with the same. Yes, having said that, Counsel Elias Lukwago, you're committed to High Court for trial at the next convenient High Court session.
We shall overcome.
Journalists, let's extend. Sembereko ali sina kenkozo wana. No mugamba nsindigira.
Eri ababadde batagoberera ekyo kitegeeza nti Honorable Elias Lukwago tagenda kudda mu kkooti ya wano, wabula ajja kubanga alindirirwa mu kkooti enkulu. Era banaaba tebannaba kufuna session kwe bamuteeka, ajja kubanga talabikako mu kkooti. Abamwagala kitegeeza ku nnaku ez'okumukyalira, Katonda bw'anaaba akyamutuwadde kujja kumukyalira ebuzira. Ffe tujja kukola buli ekisoboka okulaba nga tuddamu okununula munnaffe atambule. Bimenya naye bisoboka, era tulina okukkiriza nti Katonda ng'atambudde naffe, ekyokumununula kijja kusoboka. Ekirungi tetutidde, kubanga obujulizi bwe baleese tebumulumika. Bateebereza buteebereza nti olw'okuba mukwano gwa gundi tuteebereza nti yatambula bw'ati ne mukwano gwe ayinza okuba nga amanyiiko. Enjogera y'Abaganda egamba nti bulira gw'oyita naye. So ekitweraliikiriza n'otutiisa yebbanga lino ettono lyanaamala nga galiddwa ate nga mulwadde, naye tetutya musango kumusinga kubanga tukkiriza nti teyaguzza. Musango ogumuvunaanibwa si kuba nti teyakola kino nti yakola kino, wabula nti mbu yamanyaako n'atakola lugambo. Gwe gwokka tuteebereza nti gundi oyo ateekwa okuba yakubuulirako. Tulina ab'olugambo baffe bangi naye wagaana okubeera omu ku bo. Ekyokka ekimuvunaanibwa. Naye mutusabire. Embeera y'obulamu bwe mugyewuliriddeko, mugyerabiddeko, saagala kugiddamu. Bwe nnaagiddamu nja kulemererwa okukola bye nina okukola. Munsabire ngume nsigale nga ndirooya okusobola okukola mulimu guno ogw'okutaasa munnaffe. Embeera yo si nnungi, mbi era yeraliikiriza, naye katukkirize Katonda.